movement just in case something were to go awry.
Yeah, and so like even though Ronny has better PBs and whatnot, he understands that the tournament stage is a consistency game. So being able to bust out those extra like couple of saves, like he listed less than half a dozen of extra safety saves, and it's so easy in a game like Ori, especially in ladder game with the optimal strats, to just take an incidental death. Whoops, your jump was a little bit too low. Yeah, that's right. You just dashed into some instant death spikes. So we're going to see how Ronny is going to sort of be breaking down the rest of his route to accompany that breakdown of having to spend a little bit of extra energy for those safety strats. But Raz as well, definitely known for having a good tempo going through his match. If he's able to bust out a consistently low time, Ronny is going to have to perform close to that PB range to be able to close it out. So we're going to see how this trades off as we get into it.
So whoever wins this match will end up facing either Hitachi or Vuligen, the 13th and 12th seeds respectively. And we are not sure who's going to be facing the other semifinal. What do you think is going to end up happening with this, Muffin?
You know, I think I would really love to see another Ronny Wilson finals. I mean, they're finishing on either side of the bracket, right? Ronny is seed number 1, Wilson seed number 2. Wilson won the grand finals for the previous All Skills tournament, so just seeing them get to meet back in the finals to settle that grudge match once and for all would just be such a treat to see. But as you mentioned, like, all of our quarterfinalists, they're very impressive runners, and so I think especially in this day and age with Ori as a speed game that's been out for many years, it's really going to be crazy to see what ends up happening as the quarterfinals hashes out. But here we have some stats here, Poogle. Looks like both of our runners are going to be using keyboard and mouse, but route difference, Ronny is going to be doing for an optimal Crazy Juggle, which saves a few seconds over Raz's Terror Break. With that being said, Crazy Juggle requires multiple succinct inputs that have to be within a only a couple of frames. Like it's like a 2 to 3 frame window, each of those, in order to be able to go through the trick. And that lasts for a good number of seconds. So we're going to see how Ronny is going to be able to manage once he hits that Sorrow.
Now, Raziel is going to be taking the first health cell that can be gotten in the run. They're both going to get 5 health in total. However, Raziel will have 4 health for most of the run. Meanwhile, Ronny will only have 3. Now, it's a few seconds faster to not take that health cell. However, it's also much safer to take the health cell. It's maybe trade off a bit of some time for maybe not immediately dying other sections, but considering that Ronny is not only the first seed, but second on the leaderboard, he just goes for what he wants and is extremely good at it.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Like, not only is routing a really important aspect for being able to consistently finish with the fastest possible PB, but then also just like the consistency of the mechanics, especially in the mid and later portions of the run. And Ronny is it's going to be such a treat to watch him, as well as Raz, once they hit those points. But looks like our race is underway. We have Ronny in the left-hand side in the favored position to win. Raz is going to be on the right. And then below the screen is going to be a nice sort of skill wheel that's going to fill out as the race progresses, as well as the first and second place emblems in the middle of those wheels. So if you are a little bit confused as to who is currently in the lead, don't worry, we've got that covered for you.
It may look at some points like these screens are synced and that our runners are actually the same runner, but we promise they're not.
Especially in this early game, right, Poogle?
Absolutely. Both of our runners, as basically right now, they look like they're the same runner, but just a little bit different between the two, picking up the first skill of the game, Spirit Flame or Sign. Now this is how you attack in this game. You either press the button on your keyboard, your mouse, or your controller, and you shoot, well, pretty much everything.
Yeah, so Raz being able to have a tiny bit of a cleaner engagement, it looks like, so he's going to be finishing out just a little bit quicker. But as we mentioned, Raz is going to be going for a safety 4th health cell a little bit early. Loses him a few seconds. compared to Ronnie, but it's kind of not as much time gain as it seems for Ronnie. But Ronnie is just going to be going for all of those really optimal routing decisions as he progresses through, because he is like that vicious when it comes to routing his game. But both of our runners going down on HP. It looks like both of them are in a good range. And, ooh, Ronnie actually missing a shot on the slime. So we're going to see how he opts to make up some of that experience he's going to be losing.
Both runners look as if they are indeed at 1 HP, which is important for this ghost door. So when you put keys in a door, save and then die, you end up, well, opening the door slightly quicker. Now, Ronnie's circling his experience like that. I think he's definitely noticed he's going to be a little less...
Oh! Ronnie takes a death. Not getting that health cell up above means that he was still stuck on 1 HP, so he had to have flawless movement going through. So this is actually really big, because that skipping that health cell, that time save is now gone. Raz is not only going to have that extra safety in the early and mid-game portions, but he is also ahead of Ronnie. So this puts even more pressure on Ronnie to be able to perform for the rest of the run.
Especially considering that Ronnie, we do know, is not going to be watching either the restream or his opponent.
Yeah, good point. And so Ronnie is going to be farming a little bit of extra experience to be able to make sure he's able to get it through. Ooh, yeah. So both of our runners are going to... Oh, no, level up on the way down. Ronnie didn't quite get there because he's probably like 5 XP out or something like that. So grab 4 from the flower pad, and then he's just going to level up on the way out.
And is this our first skill? Well, second skill, first, I suppose, official skill, wall jump. Which is exactly what it says. It allows you to jump on walls. Except when the walls don't want you to. Now, the fun thing about walls... Muffin, what is the fun thing about walls in this game?
So walls are as they look. So if a wall has a bump, that usually means you can interact with it. However, there are certain walls as you progress through the game where things are a little trolly. As you see on the right, Raz is going to go for a nice tight trick. Yeah, nicely done. There's like a tiny grouping of pixels there that you can catch on that log to be able to jump up. And Ronnie also nailing that as well. However, it can just kind of like troll you because maybe you pushed into it too hard, rotating the block. So now it created a slant. And so there are certain walls with like slants and bumps and stuff like that that are actually like very easy to slip on and not get good footing to be able to jump up.
And then sometimes you jump on a wall and you find a floor.
Yeah, that is also true. That is very true, Google.
So IMRaziel is going to go for the... Okay. Both of our runners not taking that 15 experience route, which means they are going for the 100 experience orb down in Blackguard and not the aptly named slime genocide route where they kill everything.
Yeah, you need pretty succinct movement to be able to actually make use of the better platform cycle that you end up getting from slime genocide to be able to get through. So it's kind of I either get this and save time, or I don't get this. And then I'm just like either tied, and then you still have to make up for it. But also, Ronnie not going for slime genocide has picked up quick flame as well. I believe you still can't do slime genocide with quick flame, but it's a little bit tighter in terms of how your experience ends up working out. But not having magnet is also going to... Whoa! Oh, the orb! Oh, the orb made the pillar disappear. Okay, so Ronnie just took a quick death, but he had a safety save there by the orb, so not too much time loss on his hands. But this is really just actually kind of further extending Raz's lead. We were expecting Ronnie to have like an 8-second lead over his opponent, but Raz has just been absolutely slaying the rest of his movement coming through here, and is able to be ahead of his opponent instead of the reverse move.
Ronnie, looking like he's getting the laser cycle that he wants, is going to go for the reload.
Yeah, I like that spot. It's just like absolutely guarantees that you get a pretty nice platform cycle. And it's definitely one of the safer ones, as long as you're a lot more comfortable getting through lasers in the projectile. Then both of our runners doing a good job manipulating the cycles on the platforms, so these platforms in the final room are going to work out.
Oh, Ronnie missing just a little bit of a jump. Each platform cycle is a handful of seconds that IMRaziel just keeps gaining on his opponent. So with that, Ronnie, however, is going to get the platform cycle in this last room of Blackroot. And both of our runners are going to go for a trick called a Save Anywhere, something that they used to get into Blackroot by being able to move behind this lovely menu screen where you really can't see anything, but they know what they're doing anyway. IMRaziel leveling up an ability so that when this cutscene comes back, it's not there anymore.
Yeah, nicely done. And we're going to see if Ronnie on the left is going to go for some blind movement here. He is. Okay, so Ronnie entering this cutscene a little bit sooner than Raz is going to actually end up trying to stack like 2 to 3 cutscenes at the very end here when he activates the tree. So that movement that Raz just did where he saw the slimes and everything is going to actually be blind movement for Ronnie. Because entering this cutscene is going to keep the camera focused on the tree. So eyes on the left-hand side of your screen. Yeah, here he goes. It's very important that he doesn't fall here. And did he get it? Wow, all right. So saving a little bit of time back there, being able to nail that blind movement was absolutely huge for Ronnie. Being so fearless and like after all these early game mistakes and flubs from Ronnie, doing a great job just compartmentalizing his nerves and his emotions to be able to just like nail that movement. That is definitely so impressive to see coming out of him. But meanwhile, Raz still in the lead on the right is going to have a successful Frankie Walk and is going to attempt getting through Death Gauntlet. This is a much, much nicer area to get through when you have 4 health, which Raz does. And he is able to get through, no problem. But going for the glide, he gets up there! Wow, nicely done from Raz. That is a very, very tight jump.
Ronnie having to do this a slightly different fashion, still excellently done, where he has to make sure that he's right next to that experience as it comes out of the Frankie. Otherwise, it won't get magneted to him.
All right, eyes on the right again. This is so important that Raz hits this. He does. Wow. Okay. So what this does for Raz is he was able to skip a Crusher cycle. And it's like, it's pretty certain that Ronnie on the left is going to be able to also hit this. If he had missed that, that would have been Ronnie's window to be able to catch back up to his opponent. But Raz getting that first try is going to be able to keep and maintain his lead. Meanwhile, Ronnie on the left. Is he going to hit it?
And he does.
Wow. Nicely done from both of our runners.
IMRaziel going for the second bit of blind movement in the run that we've seen. First for him, gonna level up an ability at the tree, hit the tree, reload, and hey look, more not being able to see. Oh,
Man,
I guess maybe
just
not hey look then.
Yeah, that tree is just so beautiful. I'm glad we get to stare at that. And nice movement for Raz. A little bit off there. He didn't quite make it over to the left wall, which is usually where you want to be in a really optimal sense. But Raz so far still having very clean movement. We have a pretty sizable delta now between our runners. But here, now that we have double jump Poogle, the movement's going to get pretty intense, isn't it?
That it is. IMRaziel going for and immediately getting a first try grotto skip. We go up that wall, up the platform, and up the wall again, just so we don't have to do a lot of really time-consuming platforming that with a bunch of spikes and chasing. Well, we didn't really get to meet Gumo just yet.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yes, make it jump! Oh
yeah,
no!
Ronnie. Oh no, Ronnie spots the rocks! Oh no! Oh no! So Raz just was able to skip a cutscene so that rocks did not spawn. Look on the left. This is so crazy. Ronnie's gonna have to get through here with all of these damaging rocks. Not only that, but he only has 3 health. So it's gonna be so important that he's able to skip most, if not all of these. But look at this! Ronnie, it's like he's not even phased by this at all. And he is able to get through there with almost perfect movement. That is just so insane. Like, just what a clinic by Ronnie here. He's just really making up distance. I mean, he closed about like 5-6 seconds going from dash to double jump tree, and now just like nailing that even though he didn't get the cutscene skip. It is just so crazy to me. What a show.
Whoa. So it goes for the swag jump, misses it, well, and then just doesn't matter.
Yep, that's fine. So here we're going to see a bit of a routing divergence. Raz on the right is going to be grabbing this ability cell, right, Poogle? But is Ronnie going to end up going for that?
Ronnie is not going to go for that ability cell. That ability cell is crucial later in the run in order to have enough for the Terra Break route that IMRaziel is going for. Ronnie, because he's going for Crazy Juggle, will skip that ability cell, saving a couple of more seconds as our runners have basically a high five right here. And Ronnie getting an earlier cycle in that? Nice.
Yeah, wow, nice play from Ronnie, but Ronnie now at 1 health is not going to be able to get past this slime. So it's going to be so important that Ronnie on the left does not take any damage from the slime. Yeah, he was in a nice spot. He knows how those spikes work. And Raz also taking a 2 damage hit. So both of our runners actually entering Ginso Tree on 2 health. We're going to see how they end up adapting in this situation, but oh no, that was just a dash glide. Okay, so Raz on the right is going to be the first to get into Ginso Tree, and he's going to be progressing through. Nice dash glides here coming out of Raz as he goes in across these really narrow platform blocks. But yeah, there Raz goes. Oh, he's actually at 3 health, so full health for Raz, so he's going to definitely be able to go for the lower route here if he wants to, which saves like just under a second or around a second-ish. Yeah, and he does. Nice damage boost there to be able to get through. And Ronnie being able to get a cycle skip on the left, so he is going to be making up some of that time here to his opponent. And wow, Ronnie just closing distance here as he is progressing in this area.
Oh, oops. Spider Shot almost hit him on the left-hand wall. That was a little too scary for my taste. So what Ronnie's going to do here is go for a bit of a cycle manipulation on this spitter. You can't really speed up this room at all unless you get this earlier cycle, or this Asmus cycle, by putting the save there and die in order to get to this mini-boss that IMRaziel is just going on a ham on.
Yeah, and so this is a part where Ronnie's definitely going to be able to save some time compared to Raz, because he is going to be able to finish like either in the same cycle if Raz gets a perfect fight, or he is going to be able to finish 1 to 2 cycles faster on the mini-boss. And so Ronnie, it looked like he got a 4 cycle there. So
just a couple shots with the fact that the spitter spawned a little bit away from him on the 3rd cycle.
All right. But yeah, here we go. Oh, Ronnie, just a slight misstep there. No problem. He's just going to have to take a little bit of a slower route. Raz is still going to be in the lead, but Ronnie coming back, starting early with a 24-second deficit at the 2nd skill tree, has been able to close so much of this time back. And look at this. They are on the same screen, mere seconds apart. So Raz able to make it like pretty much halfway through the run, Poogle, and be able to stay tied with Ronnie. But Ronnie just showing how solid he is mentally and emotionally, getting back into this race. 24 seconds behind? Yeah, no, now it's more like just a couple of seconds. Well, that's insane to me.
That is absolutely incredible. Both of our runners, like we said, do not be warned. This is 2 runners, not just 1. We promise.
All right, so both of them are in the key dupe section. It looks like Ronnie now has actually just come back into the lead, just barely surpassing his opponent in this room. Nice, Ronnie gets a successful key dupe.
And IMRaziel does.
Okay, here we go, Poogle.
So the reason why that is so important is because we do not finish this dungeon. We really don't finish any dungeon except the last one, but the reason why we don't finish this is because it's faster not to. However, that means that the water is never clean. So we can't really go swimming for the keystones that we need to open the other door. But if you put keystones into a door and die, and your save is far enough away, then you get more.
Yeah, for sure, Poogle. Having those keystones respawn on the map because the save is far enough away, and we place the save before we collect the keystones is very, very nice to be able to make use of that. So instead of getting 4 keystones in that section, we're actually able to turn that number into a nice 7 keystones. And so the next key door is only going to require 2, and then we are going to collect 3 keystones to be able to get through this a little bit later on to make up for that. But very, very nice that we don't have to find those. Ronnie is going to hit the lasers, not quite getting a dash glide through. Looks like maybe he wanted to try and go for the skip there, but Raz is definitely going to be triggering those intentionally. So eyes on both of the screens, because this is the next point of contention where we are at Swamp Entry. And look at that safety save, Google.
Yeah, Ronnie is making the safety save. Now, he's not watching his opponent, but he definitely has to feel like with the few mistakes that he's had, maybe considering that IMRaziel is a very strong opponent, just a little bit of extra safety for him.
Yeah, nice
Oh, no!
first try. Oh, Raz just accidentally tanked a hit from that frog, but no problem. He's going to be able to get back up and get the second attempt. And Raz needs this. He does. He gets his second try. Okay, so Ronnie getting Swamp Entry first try is going to extend his lead. Yeah, that was very spooky, but Ronnie's a pro.
Ronnie going up that way is just really terrifying.
Yeah, so Ronnie did some fancy damage boost on some spikes, so nicely done from Ronnie, extending his lead slightly further.
As Raziel does the slightly saner thing in going up the left-hand wall.
Yep. Alright, so Ronnie now is going to be fast exiting out of Swamp. He's going to be going for an ability cell over here by using the Frog Ring. Oh no! Okay, so that just sent him back to the door. Thank goodness, Ronnie just knows he can save there without any time loss whatsoever. So, nice just like heads-up play to place a save down there. So, still a bit of time loss, but not nearly as much. Like, you can get sent all the way back to the tree, and that would have put Raz back in the lead. But so, Ronnie's still in the lead, but that did close a little bit of the gap for Raz there.
Oh, barely missing the lasers. That is... Ronnie with just the ever so slightly getting the movement that looks like it's not going to make it, and then all of a sudden it just barely goes through. Just, it shows how well he knows this game and how much he trusts himself with. I know exactly what I'm doing. I can get away with exactly this. Yeah,
and both runners being able to nail a cutscene skip, which was super, super important, that Raz answered that, and he did. Ronnie on the left, doing some really funky double bashes. Oh no! Oh, so he tried to stomp the wall there before the shot hit it, and then that would have allowed him to skip having to watch this small cutscene here. It's definitely for some flair, but I guess it does save a tiny bit of time if you're able to get it. But just, I love Ronnie in these situations, because he's not afraid to bust out, like, the style points for these strats, for sure, Google.
We are going to see another essay from this tree, so that we can skip yet another cutscene. Because
yeah, for sure.
Speedrunners, we want to go fast.
Yeah. And for his part, Raz is still very close to Ronnie, and we're starting to enter into the late game portions, and anything can happen in late game Ori. Like, literally, there are sections where you want to spend all of your energy on your movement and not have to spend it on your dashes at all. And everything is going to be either a 2-hit kill or a 1-hit kill. So it's going to be extremely terrifying. So lots of just high-octane action that can happen in this late game. So having the race be this close heading into late game, it's anybody's race for sure.
That it is. Now, at this point, basically, any of these spikes will kill Ronnie. Raziel having that slight bit of safety being at 4 health. And, this is where the run gets scary.
Yeah, so
not for these runners, but for most people, this is where the run gets scary.
Yeah, I mean, I am still spooked by this, especially this trick here, where Ronnie's gonna bash this shot at a precise angle. Yeah, well, that shot looked good. Hopefully it is good. I am afraid to say for certain, but on the left, yes, okay, great. Nice, fast stomp list from Ronnie. Able to make use of that. Raz on the right did not like his first shot. He's going to be grabbing the second one. Ooh, that's pretty high off the ground. Oh, no. Was that angle too high, Pooh?
I don't trust myself to call it, but that looked okay, no.
Oh, Raz able to get fast stomp list as well. I thought that shot was bad. Oh, thank God, Raz. Oh, giving me a heart attack. Whew. Whew. Alright, now that I breathed, we're heading on to Sorrow Bash, Poodle. Let's see how Ronnie does.
Ronnie's going to go for the double bash method of taking this bird up into this spike. Oh!
Raz with the death! Ronnie with the death, excuse me! Raz is going to be heading up, and now he is in the lead. So if Raz is able to get this trick first try, he is going to be able to get into Sorrow first. But here we go. No, Raz takes a death too! And Ronnie bashes him low again, but Bird gets up. Yeah, Ronnie throws in one extra double bash to just guarantee he gets in there first try. Oh my God! So Ronnie and Raz just trading on the deaths. Oh no.
Alright, so look on the left-hand side of your screens for... Okay, Ronnie's getting this energy. I think he might have dropped one from charge dashing that slime, but this is Crazy Juggle. This is the very precise inputs of, if you screw this up and you kill the frog, well, you're kinda stuck.
And Ronnie gets it up there first try. That is going to save him a nice chunk of time compared to his opponent, which is using a different entry method. So Ronnie making the statement saying, yeah, I'm still under pressure. That's right, I missed Sorrow Bash and I'm a little bit frazzled. Still gonna go for this insane precision on a trick. Yeah, look at that Crazy Juggle. That's so good.
That's incredible.
Yep.
Both of our runners have an essay up. Except one is to skip this cutscene here, and the other for Raziel is to go out from this tree and do his method of getting up to the Sunstone, which is Terror Break.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so Raz on the right goes for Terror Break. He saves the game, he's going to charge jump with spikes, and he's able to get through. Nicely done from Raz. He definitely needed to be able to get that with some nice proficiency, and he was able to nail that on the spot. That being said, Ronnie, it's kind of hard to tell exactly who's in the lead, but it's pretty clear at this point that Ronnie's in the lead, because he got into Sorrow a little bit faster, a little bit sooner than Raz, and he was able to do Crazy Juggle in place of Terror Break. So Ronnie's going to be the first to exit this area, barring a death. Yeah, nice. Okay, so nice charge dashes through those instant death spikes. That is very narrow, and he was able to get it, no problem. And Ronnie's going to be heading into Misty.
So all of those spikes in that cave do 5 damage. Not 4, 5. All of the spikes in Misty Woods do 3 damage. Raziel going through is going to have that little bit of extra safety in case something goes wrong, in case he clips something. Ronnie hits a spike, he's dead. He did say he was going to do a couple of safety saves in here, which will help with things being slightly less scary.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Google. And so Ronnie on the left, like, just eyes peeled on both of these screens, because one slight misstep from either of them could spell death. And the last time they saved is, yeah, that's right, it's like all the way in Sorrow. Did Ronnie drop a save? No, not yet. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that's really big from Ronnie, because he's saying, I'm going to spend a little bit of extra time grabbing an extra energy crystal in order to be able to get through. Like, the time loss is minimal, but Ronnie isn't watching his opponent. So he doesn't know how far ahead Raz is. Like, missing Sorrow Bash, he has no idea if Raz got that first try. But he knows if Raz was on PP pace, that he would either be slightly ahead or tied with him right now. And so in this latter game portion, where the movement is so fast-paced, and you really don't want to be substituting in safety unless absolutely necessary. Ooh, Ronnie, wow, just barely nailing that stomp before face-planting into instant death spikes. Only being on 3 health in here is just so scary, as you mentioned earlier, right, Pooh?
Oh, absolutely. Managing to do a couple of very, very nice stomp cancels to save his energy and go through these horrible, horribly terrifying spikes.
Yeah, and there it is, the extra safety from Ronnie once again. Like, this is very important to point out. Raz also with a safety save on the right. Not having that energy is going to make traversing through a few sections just a tiny bit slower, but there are safety energy crystals to be picked up later on. But nice mini-boss from Ronnie, nailing that bang zoom with some flair.
What mini-boss?
Yeah, maybe they patched it out. I didn't see a mini-boss.
I didn't either. Raziel not going for the safety save at the 4th keystone.
Yeah, had a little trip up there with breaking the energy crystals. Maybe just a little bit frazzled heading into this. Raz, making it very succinctly and quickly into the mini-boss, is going to go for his attempt. Yeah, nice. And doing a slightly different variant where he waited for both of them to pop up before going for the kill. Just a tiny bit slower, but a little bit of a less precise strat to be able to close out the fight. But still very clean from Raz. Very impressive.
At this point, either runner making a mistake, even if they're not watching each other, even if they are watching each other, both of them have to know at this point that there is very little room for error. Ronnie going for that faster laser cycle, using the last bit of reason why we need all of those ability points. This is the last thing we need to skip, and Ronnie's going to get his last skill, Grenade. off, and why is Grenade so great?
So in culmination with 2 other skills, you're actually able to do a really insane jump. So normally we can charge jump off of walls, but we can cancel out the deceleration if we end up throwing a grenade right before, just as we see on the left-hand side. Nice grenade jump from Ronny, and that is a 1-frame input, which means he has 1/60th of a second to be able to hit that timing window. But wow, just nailing the second cycle to be able to get through the lasers, and a fast one to boot using that grenade jump is just so insane to see. So Ronny, very comfortable with this late game movement. If he keeps up this tempo and this momentum, he is going to finish out with a win in Game 1 in this best-of-3 series, Google.
Ronny will be getting his 5th health cell just to appear past all of this. That was terrifying.
God, the stair cancels. What flare from Ronny. Oh my goodness. Oh no! He just sunk all of his energy away, Google. So is he going to still go for it? For the warmth skip. I actually don't know if he's going to go for it.
I don't think he can.
Yeah, I don't think he will either. Yeah, he's completely out of energy. Unless he goes for his energy cell. Oh man! Oh man! Okay, yeah, so he has to duck here to get through the spot, and then he has a very tight window to be able to get through the laser hits him. Yeah, he's staying low. He knows that laser...
He's going for the energy cell. So, for people who don't know, that cell is not normally in the route, but because Ronny wants to go for warmth skip, which is a skip right at the end of the game, he needs the energy, and he just decided to go for the refill. I'm not sure if that was an adaptation or just incredible game knowledge.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so Raz being more on top of his energy here, then Ronny is going to be able to catch up a little bit of time. But if Ronny is able to nail this warm skip, he will further his lead by a tiny bit. Raz, on door warp, has to answer first try. If he is able to do this, and if Ronny makes a mistake here, which Ronny does, he dies in the final escape, but that's okay. He gets to quickly go for it again. Alright, he gets through that first screen, but now a bit of blind movement for Ronny on the left. He cannot take any damage as he goes through here, Google.
He made it. He's gonna go through one wall, through this one floor, through the second wall. And this is why you need 5 HP at minimum at the end of this escape. You have to line up these fish just right, take 4 damage through this swim, bash off 1 fish, bash off the second, and we're good. And he does not spawn the bird.
Alright, and this is it. If Ronny's able to nail the last 1-frame trick of the run, and
he's soft-locked!
He's soft-locked, Purple! He has to restart the final escape. Raz in the lead. If Raz is able to get through the final escape and have a clean escape, he will be walking away. But that's not it. Ronny, with the fast-paced movement, is in the hunt. He has to catch up, and he has to be able to nail that next try. Raz, though, in the lead. If he nails this grenade jump, Google, he's going to take Game 1. Alright, Raz, on this swim.
Looks good. He should be fine. He's barely fine. Okay, he's out. Does not spawn the bird.
Okay, eyes on the right. Here it is. If Raz nails this grenade jump... Come on, Raz.
He's out!
He gets it first try! No fucking way! Oh my god, Raz taking game number 1. The Portuguese pain train. No way, dude. Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. What an insane performance. Raz being able to take a little bit of an early lead, even with the routing, but Ronny just being able to close the time gap time and time again to be able to catch back up after each tiny mistake. Both runners getting second try Sorrow Bash to get in there. Unbelievable. But Raz just being able to close out that final grenade jump with Ronny getting the unfortunate soft lock, was able to pull the first win of the set with an end time of 30-21-88, and Ronny finishing with a 30, looked like a 31 in that situation, so 10 seconds apart. Unreal. I am shaking so hard, Google.
Whoa. That was a ride. So that is aside from all of the flip-flopping back and forth, Ronny ahead, IMRaziel ahead, the final time difference was roughly about 10 seconds after all of that.
Yeah, that's insane. That being said, the match is not over yet, folks. After our runners are going to be sort of solidifying, they're going to take a short break, a couple minutes. We'll let you know exactly how long that's going to be. And then we will be back for the next game. But Raz taking a win here is going to mean he only needs to close out one more win against Ronnie to be able to progress to the semifinals. Whereas Ronnie needs to bring it back and win the next 2 games in a row to be able to travel on to hopefully defend his place in the grand finals, which he was able to close out last All Skills tournament. We're going to see what happens and get back to you folks in just a couple minutes. See you then.
Welcome back, everyone, to Game 2 of potentially 3 of this best-of-3 match of the quarterfinals between UncleRonny and IMRaziel. Well, last game was incredibly close, and here to both have commentated last game and this one, with me is Covert Muffin.
Hey, Poogle. I'm still shaking. I'm not gonna lie. I've been sitting here for 7 minutes, and we've been, just talking behind the scenes of just how insane that first game was in this match. If you missed that, definitely go back and rewatch that after you watch the second game. Ronnie, clearly the favored in this matchup, and showed time and time again in that match, had some slight missteps earlier in the run, but was able to bounce back and catch up, right? 24-second deficit at dash tree, closed almost all of that at double jump tree, and overtook his opponent, getting to Ginso, right? Or in Ginso, excuse me. And then just the mid-game Poogle was so insane.
I don't believe we had a delta of more than the 24 seconds. Or if it was, it wasn't by much.
Yeah.
That is just how close these runners are.
Yeah, for sure. And this is exactly the thing Raz needed. He needed to stay with his opponent in the early and mid-game, and then have some mistake in the late game by Ronnie. Unfortunately, that late game mistake, as Ronnie clawed further and further ahead in Misty, in Black Group Burrows on the second revisit, right? It just ended up being in the final escape with that unfortunate soft lock from Ronnie. And that 1 minute time loss was exactly what Raz needed in to be able to close out his win by just about 10 seconds. But here we go. We have the second game here. Ronnie looking to compartmentalize himself in the left to be able to bring back and continue that solid play and just take away some of those big time losses to be able to close out a win here. And then Raz looking to be able to stay with his opponent through the early mid-game and find that moment to be able to budge ahead and close out the series with a win here, Google.
It also speaks to Ronnie's credit as a runner that, outside of a single qualifier race, the 30-31 that he just got in the prior race is the worst time he's gotten during the tournament.
Wow. That's my PB. And that was his worst run in the brackets in like since the qualifiers. Oh my goodness. That just like shows what a titan is that of a player that Ronnie is with the game. That's so insane.
I honestly can't imagine being in either runner's head right now. I don't know how well they are being able to keep this stress or not stress under control. It's incredibly difficult to just keep your head under pressure like this. Both of our owners doing a fantastic job, and I almost feel like it's worse in the early game where you don't have as much to do. You have to not focus on the insane movement, all of the skills. You've got sign, and that's it. And all of this early game movement where you have time to think, and maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing.
Yeah, especially like in this upcoming area for Ronnie, right? He's going back down to the 1 health to be able to get through this ghost door. Not grabbing this 4th health cell up here means that he's going to be on 1 health. Last game, he actually ended up taking a death here, which gave Raz a tiny bit of a lead. But able to get past the first line, we're going to see how he does in this bend. On the left, Ronnie has to be able to get through here without taking a hit. And he does this time. Okay, so Ronnie already being able to get through this section.
Yeah, that all was terrifying. To be fair, Glades and this area is terrifying on 1 health anyway. But because of that flower, he's back at 2, so if something horrible were to happen, he does not immediately die. And his experience going into this is a lot better than last time as well.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to see if he goes for flower pad skip. Nice, he does get it, so Ronnie's going to have a nice little time save to be able to catapult himself. Raz on the right, a little bit low on experience, so he is going to have to grab this flower pad and then level up on the way out. So kind of a reversal of what we saw from our runners in the previous run. Raz is now going to be leveling up on the way out with Ronnie, but Ronnie was able to save a little bit of extra time over his opponent doing that. So Ronnie is in the lead right now.
Something we haven't really mentioned so far is, especially you can see it on IMRaziel's side, that he had the UI up on the bottom, and then put it away, and then checked it again, then put it away. The reason why we don't like having it up there is because when it is not up, we don't see any form of text. Which is great, because there's not the awkward, oh, we have to sit here and listen to talk. But that also means that we've got to make sure that we know where our health is, our energy is, our experience is. It's tough.
Yeah, managing resources in Ori, especially in the early game, is probably the actual difficult aspect. You say, yeah, we don't have a lot of skills right now, but it's so crucial keeping your level, and I mean keeping your experience in just the right spot for those 2 early time level ups that we like to take. So we are going to level up in BRB, but the 3rd level up is actually very important to be able to nail Frankie on. Both of our runners are seasoned, so managing and balancing their experience as well as health and energy is good, but it's still very easy to just make a slight error and get severely punished for it, as we saw in the previous game.
Ronnie looks like he's got 32 experience to level, which means he can kill 2 slimes in here. But as he does not get Magnet, it's slightly easier for him to pick and choose, even if he does end up having to kill the slimes, which slime's experience he actually wants to get. Now, I didn't catch what IMRaziel leveled. Did he level up Magnet or did he level up Rekindle?
I'm not sure, Poogle, but we'll definitely be able to tell in just a little bit. Meanwhile, Ronnie picking up the first 12 experience he's going to grab while he's in here. Going over to the orb, let's see if he makes
the 1 frame orb pickup!
Yo, nice. Nice little time save. Okay, so being at 32 experience, after he gets the 2 slimes, that means he's going to be 8 experience away from leveling up. He missed one of those, so he's going to be about 9. But that being said, the Frankie ends up dropping 19 experience. Ronnie, though, not having Magnet.
Barely manages to not die in the spikes.
Yeah.
Takes the hit from the shooty thing, and gets the cycle on top of that.
Yeah, just barely nailing that cycle. Fraction of a second. Yeah, look at that. The tiny little mouse movement at that platform. Ronnie realizes just how insanely close that was to missing that. That's so big for Ronnie. And being able to not take a death there. So dropping the safety save, not being able to go for that safety cycle, and able to power through. So this is a completely different game for Ronnie, and he has had a really fresh start in this first 6-minute portion, Google. This is so great to see.
As a reversal of fate almost from the prior game, Ronnie has hit every single cycle he has needed. Raziel dropping a couple here and there.
Yeah, and you're right. It looks like Raz's experience was 36 or less as well, so actually ending up picking up Rekindle instead of Magnet, no problem. That's just like a really nice backup. Just means that we're going to try and void 1 slime's worth of experience, and Raz was able to do just that. But Ronnie took a 10-second lead at Wall Jump Tree, and just further being able to capitalize on that and stay ahead as he is going to be entering his next portion of blind movement. This is going to be so crucial for Ronnie to be able to hit this. We've seen so many top-tier runners struggle with this throughout the tournament.
The scary part about this is that with the blind movement, when you save off screen. When it ends up going back to you, you don't quite know where you are. So if you end up falling down into the pit, not timing your dashes correctly, not counting your dash, you could end up not here where Ronnie wants to be, but down in the middle. And that is a problem.
Yeah, nicely done from Ronnie, though. Another solid blind movement for him. Just going to further capitalize on extending that lead a slight bit, as Raz is not going to be going for that blind movement. But Ronnie, now heading into Frankie Walk. If he has a clean Frankie Walk, if he has a clean Death Gauntlet, he's going to be able to get into Grotto, no problem.
As someone who does Magnetless Frankie Walk, I personally would not be comfortable with 9 experience to level. I would have killed that slime coming out for the 3 to get to 6. Ronnie, being an extremely talented runner, probably doesn't have to worry about it. Jumping on the wall to get that experience, gets through absolutely no problems, kills the slime, jumps on the wall, goes through the Frankie, and is all good.
This is really good. Death Gauntlet is especially one of the scariest portions because it's so easy to take an extra damage. Then only being on 1 health, right after getting out of Death Gauntlet, you cannot get touched by that Frankie. And so Ronnie getting through there and being able to place that safety save before he goes for the Crusher cycle is just absolutely huge. So eyes on the left as Ronnie goes for this, able to get it no problem in the last run. Ooh, slight misstep with getting up. He still makes the cycle cool.
Makes the cycle and makes it look easy. On your right, Raziel going for these aptly named Death Glide, not even hitting the bramble, making it look super easy. That's not easy.
No, that is insanely difficult. It's a very precise and tight trick, and Raz just making it work. Then, up here, Raz is also going to go for the Crusher cycle. He needs to be able to get this if he wants to keep up with his opponent. Let's see if he gets it. He does not! Oh no, Poogle.
So that is an 8-second time loss for Raziel. The truck is letting us know that Ronnie got a not 7-minute dash time. He got a 6:58 dash time and is currently only about 3 seconds behind his PB.
Wow. That is insane. And like considering
Oh
no! Alright, Ronnie's at 1 health. Alright, he's able to get through there, no problem. That's okay, because we have regroup up here, so we're gonna be able to heal up, but Ronnie,
not
please.
Unless he misses the jump again.
Yeah, don't spawn the rocks this time, Ronnie. Ronnie making Grotto skip look easy, no problem. Gonna come up, gets back and jump. And alright, he skipped he skipped spawning the rocks this time, so Ronnie gonna breathe a sigh of relief as he heads up into this really insane movement. Meanwhile, on the right, Raz nailing the blind movement, doing a really great job making it over to the left side wall before the camera panned back to him, is going to be progressing into his very own Grotto skip attempts. I'm sure he's gonna get it first try, Google.
And he does not get hit by the Froggy. Yeah, Froggies like to just not even hit you, just land on top of you. It's honestly really rude.
Yeah, they're very rude creatures. I mean, especially like carrying around chairs with them. Like, how do frogs even grab chairs, Poop? But these Frankies just end up being able to grab them and extend their reach slightly to be able to slam your face into the ground, ruining all hopes and dreams.
It's because they're not frogs, they're Frankies. They have strong arms that they can use to hit you with the chairs.
Ah, touche. Alright, away from memes and back to the action. Ronnie on the left, being able to have some clean movement. Gained off, denying him slightly, having to walk through the slime instead of being able to dash through it. Is able to get the intentional level up. We're going to see if he's going to be able to go for that fast cycle that he was able to close out in the previous run. Up over here on the left. All right, so far so good. Gets the dash off, and we're gonna see.
Oh, gets it just barely. Oh,
Ooh,
kind of. Oh
no! No, he just. Okay, so he didn't get it. He gets hit by it, touching that waypoint. That was still a waypoint activate. Oh, the slime Poogle!
He's good. He's good.
All right. Ronnie, playing with my emotions here. I'm already on a thread of sanity here from the previous race, and Ronnie just adding in some anticipation. Raz is going to head into the same movement section, but he has to pick up the ability cell. And a little bit of correction for the commentary. Thanks for the people behind the scenes letting me know that his ability cell that Raz just picked up is the time difference for the crazy juggle route. So that crazy sorrow. Like stomp cancels that you saw to be able to get up to Sunstone. Yeah, that's the time save there for Ronnie. So further extending his lead right now, but once they get to Sorrow, that doesn't actually make up any time.
Ronnie yet again getting that getting the cycle is still going to be able to go for this damage boost because that flower pad, the green one, does have a health pickup in it. But accidentally gets hit by a Geemer, or what we like to call Geemers, because honestly, they look like Geemers.
Yeah, and nicely done, going for the Mr. Asmus cycle. Once again, is able to close that out. No problem. Ronnie adding some flair with some dashes as he's just going to be waiting. Raz, meanwhile, has entered Ginso. Looks like we have a 46-second delta at Ginso. So Ronnie definitely in a strong, commanding lead. As he's been closing out these times that have been comparable to his very own PB.
Ronnie has just been tearing through. Going to end up getting a 4-cycle mini-boss kill. A little bit of mouse movement there. I'm not sure if that was for the 4th cycle or not quite getting the tell for where that mini-boss is going to spawn. That's like about the only bit of RNG we have in this run is where is that mini-boss going to spawn? It can spawn in one of 5 places, and there's a 1-frame tell, this little, like, white blip that will show you where it's going to spawn next, if you can see it. It's kind of a pain to see sometimes. I know, I can't see it.
Yeah, for sure. Meanwhile, Ronnie doesn't quite get the hyperspeed he was looking for to get to this tree. No problem. Still going to make it to Bash Tree with a 13-20 bash split. That is so insane.
That is incredibly silly. So, IMRaziel having no problems with this mini-boss. And won't even have to worry about getting the experience for it. He can just magnet it up to him. Ronnie showing off a bit more of those double bashes to get that one shot up here instead of needing to wait for a second. And is going to save on this higher platform for the key dupe by killing this Mortar Worm. Now, that only saves a little bit of time as far as where it's placed, but sometimes a little bit of time is all you need.
Yeah, you know, Ronnie having such a clean Ginso, like, the only thing I can think that he missed so far is, like, the 3-cycle on the mini-boss, and just, like, he took a damage, right, in the second room, and so he had to, like, jump on a flower pad to get the health back. But his key dupe was clean, and he is going to be entering the second mini-boss in Ginso at an insane pace. So this is a completely different race from what we saw from Ronnie in the first one, right? They were tied in key dupe last game, and Ronnie just having a really, really big lead here is exactly what he's hoping for, going into the mid-game portion of the run.
Going to teleport to Moon Grotto and to go into Swamp. Why are we teleporting to Moon Grotto to go into Swamp? Because, well, we don't go in there the correct way anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to be hearing any of that epic music from Ginso Escape that we know and love. But we are instead going to be showcasing off a really insane sequence. And Ronnie had a really amazing and clean sequence. Nice. Going for the blind movement here, Poogle.
Is going to go for the blind movement. Didn't do this last time, so... The one nice thing about this blind movement is that there are not going to be lasers. Which, if you remember they're there, is fine. But just sometimes it's more comfortable if you want to do the blind movement. It's a little faster if you just don't want to deal with lasers.
Yeah, for sure, Poogle. And so that's awesome that Ronnie was going to be able to get that. I think he got like a ledge vault last run and wasn't able to go for the blind movement, but getting it there and actually doing a really solid job with it. And the swamp entry, just very, very clean. execution in the past couple of minutes from Ronnie, is going to be speeding his way with some more double bashes, heading on over. And here's the damage boost again. No problem.
All right, he's good.
No problem.
Gets to the stomp tree. Prior to 16 minutes. That's still ridiculous. Meanwhile, Raziel has lasers. Again, I don't think it's going to be really any problem for Raziel. Oh, we're getting word from the truck that Ronnie is now, again, 2 seconds behind his PB. Meaning he managed to catch up about 6 seconds from the bash tree. He caught up on his PB.
That is insane, Poogle. What a run so far for Ronnie. Being over halfway done with his run, right? His PB is extremely low, right? And he is over halfway done with the run. So if he keeps up with this pace, we could actually see a potential PB coming out of Ronnie in this. I mean, the late game is insane, and it's insanely difficult to do. And Ronnie's going for some intentional safety, so he's probably going to lose like a few seconds here and there compared to his PB. But if he keeps on this pace, he's not going to give Raz any chance to be able to catch up with this, and we might just see a Game 3 come out of this set.
That's interesting. Oh, right. Ronnie goes for the strat that I believe him and Hydra go for, and that's about it. Because if you don't touch the ground, like you just do, the cutscene that you saw last time, the little mini pan up to look at the spider thing, it doesn't happen as long as you don't touch the ground. And you didn't touch the ground, so no cutscene.
Wow. That's so awesome. I love that trick so much. Coming out of, and like, this is it, like, Ronnie must know what sort of an insane pace he is on right now. Like, this is Ronnie's comfort zone with how he's punching through the game. So we're gonna see how he does progressing into the latter games. Meanwhile,
I'm just being corrected extremely. Wilson and Elo go for it, and apparently it was an Elo thing, not a Hydra thing. Well, I believe Hydra's the only one I've seen it done right in the tournament so far. I could also be wrong again, but the point is, it's really, really crazy, and anyone who does it is both out of their mind and extremely talented.
Yeah, like hearing the Wilson and Elo, I mean, yeah, of course. Like, and people who are just as insane, both mentally and at this game, as Ronnie. And so now we see Raz making really nice, clean work of Hollow Grove so far. Nailing the cutscene skip, being able to get the ability cell past Ringo, and being able to get through this portion of instant death. It's just so nice to see. Oh, a slight misstep there with trying to get past a slime with a bash, but is just able to recover. And oh no! Raz maybe not getting the Frankie down.
Okay, so that's not the biggest time loss in the world. He's gonna have to go break the... He's gonna have to break that with energy instead. If anything, I wouldn't be so concerned as to the maybe couple seconds of time loss, as in he's gonna have one less energy to play with as far as his routing until he gets to Feather, because energy is extremely important, as we saw by Ronnie going for that optional 6th energy cell at the end of the run because of a trick he wanted to do.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite adaptations I've seen in the entire tournament. Meanwhile, Ronnie at Sea Flame Tree, which was back, he was 1 second behind PB. We're going to get an update for you folks in a moment at Feather. He is 4 seconds behind his PB as of there, but that is totally okay. He's still in the hunt. But Ronnie, on the left, he's going for Sorrow Bash. He took a big death here last time. Yeah, that extra double bash.
He's going to go for the extra double bash on that last bird. He ended up dying the previous run to being slightly low. And yet again, we are going to see a crazy juggle.
Oh, nice realization there. So there was a slime shot, and if he had C-dashed into the frog, that would have canceled out the C-dash up to the frog. But so far, so good with crazy juggle. Landed on the platform unintentionally, but the frog has just enough health for him to be able to get through. Nice crazy juggle from Ronnie once again. Ooh!
Oh! Okay, so he is not going to go for another rocket jump, which is what those are, where you have an enemy above you and you just zoom straight up. Because if he did, he would have gotten hit by lasers. Oh, is Raziel? Oh no.
Oh, okay, so it looks like Raz had a little bit of trouble with Fast Stompless. Yeah, it sounds like he ended up missing his shot.
Oh no!
Oh no, Raz, no man! Oh, Raz with the big death. that is one of the worst deaths that can happen in the run. If not the worst I think I've seen so far. So Raz is going to have to do all of this movement and probably go for fast combos again. This is almost solidifying Ronnie's win here in the second game. Like Ronnie already was ahead by over or around a minute, and like now with that, it's just further doubling the lead, if not even more.
Exactly. It would take a lot of spaghetti, and I mean a lot of spaghetti, in order for not for Raziel to claw his way back, because that could happen, but for Ronnie to lose enough time for Raziel to do so.
Yeah, that must. I mean, I can just hear Raz's voice right now, being like, "Oh man." The good news is that Raz did take a win in game 1, so even if Ronnie does not have sufficient spaghetti to be able to give Raz a chance to get back in this race, he still is going to be able to go to a game 3 to decide the series. But Ronnie takes a hit from across and takes a death Poogle, so he goes back to charge jump tree. That wasn't quite as expensive of a death that Raz took.
No!
I mean, this is it, Poogle. Like, if Ronnie cannot be able to get through these sections, this is going to be what brings Raz back in. But Ronnie, still an insanely comfortable lead, but doesn't necessarily know it, Poogle.
That he does not. Neither runner is... Yeah, gets hit by the frog again. These frogs are mean. Neither runner is watching each other, so... Neither runner knows where the other is, and can only really make guesses based on what they've been able to do and where they've ended up in the run. Now, on your right, Raziel going for the double bash method again for Sorrow Bash, gets it fantastically done.
Yeah, nicely done from Raz. And so Raz is going to go up. He is not going to be doing Crazy Juggle, instead going for a Terror Break, which is just as fast as Crazy Juggle in this section, but Raz had to pick up an ability cell earlier in the run to be able to go for this Terror Break. That being said, Ronnie, going through Misty, did place a safety save at the entrance. We're going to see if he places another one here. He does. All right, I like this consistency with Ronnie for his tournament strats.
Now you might think, huh, why don't you just not drop the save? You're almost there. Well, that Spike's drop down and shoot thing is extremely unforgiving, and he will die if he hits. So I completely respect him for going, you know what? Let's just drop this here.
Yeah, I like this. I especially like this. I mean, Ronnie not watching his opponent doesn't know how much of a pace Raz is on, but this is just pretty much just saying, if I take a death, I will not have to do as much movement to be able to catch back up to the same spot. So, mitigating potential time loss, maybe not guaranteed time loss, but potential at that. Meanwhile, Ronnie tearing up Misty, not missing a beat with any of this really complex and difficult movement. It's just nailed so many insane tricks. All these spikes, that's right, they deal 3 damage. That would be instant death for Ronnie if he makes one slight misstep.
Now, I'm wondering if he is going to go for the save here. He said that he was going to, in his pre-match notes, didn't go for it last round, last game, did go for it here. He's got 2 energy to get everything done that he needs to get done. And maybe I'll actually see the mini-boss this time.
What mini-boss? Wait, was there a mini-boss? I completely missed it.
I suppose not.
Patched. Nice mini-boss kill for Ronnie is going to be progressing out of Misty as Raz is entering Misty. This is just how much of an insane pace Ronnie has been on. So even with that huge death and sorrow, still able to close out a pretty solid lead at this point. This is definitely Ronnie's race to lead.
You know it.
Alright, so Raz, meanwhile, just showing off how fluid he is at this late game movement as well. A lot of these timings with when you charge dash onto a slime or a frog is very, very tight, right? Charge dash too early, you actually go backwards because you're closer to the other frog, right? Or if you charge dash late, you end up just tanking a hit and taking some damage or potentially losing some energy to some missed movement. So Raz just putting on a clinic with how solid he is with this late game movement so far. Meanwhile, Ronnie gets a nice cycle on the lasers entering and is going to be able to get a nice cutscene skip. We're going to see if he's going to be able to nail this 1-frame grenade jump to get out and catch another really fast cycle again.
I'm just blown away that this is just... Oh, okay, Raziel still managing to get the rocket jump. Oh, no! Alright, Ronnie's probably not going to go for the laser cycle. Or if he does, he's going to go for a later... what?
What an absolute madman, still going for that cycle, even though he had a little bit of a delay getting to that point. That's just so insane.
Is that the same cycle, or is it the next cycle?
Oh, maybe it is one cycle later. I don't know. Wait, Ronnie's just a wizard.
The laser doesn't spawn there.
Oh, okay. Knowledge bomb. Thank you, guys.
Raziel not going to save at the 4th keystone. So, at this point, he probably knows, even if he's not watching, that major death right near Fast Stompas put him pretty behind.
Yeah, for sure, Google. And so, Raz slight misstep has 1 energy less than maybe what he wanted. We're gonna see how he does on this mini-boss kill. Doesn't quite get the mini-boss kill he was looking for either, but able to get it in 2 cycles. That's still pretty nice. Uh-oh, Raz is... Okay, he just missed some experience. So, Raz still getting the level up, which is great. Meanwhile, Ronnie just nailing all of this really insane movement. That final grenade jump, and he has plenty of energy to be able to go for skip here, Google.
He's not going to go for that 6th energy, so to speak, because he doesn't need it. He's got the energy to do this warp skip, the last bit of blind movement in this run. Does he get the door warp first try? Of course he does, and he's on to this skip. Now, he is going to go for the enter-exit method just in case, because if he dies, then he doesn't immediately get screwed over. So he's going to go for the blind movement, gets through the first rock, and now we don't get to see what anyone's doing. But it sounds like he's doing okay, gets by Kuro the first time, up the lantern room, looks like he's got a good cycle on the lasers too. But the main cycle that he needs to worry about is the fish. If the fish are not in the exact right position, with 5 health, there is no room for error here. Gonna stall right above the water. Looks like the fish are good.
Yeah, fish are in good spots here. He takes a bit of a hit. Okay, good. Able to get out, no problem. I was worried he actually got hit in the second room of that blind movement, but he actually didn't. I just heard ghost sounds. But here it is. So this is the final grenade jump. Yeah, changing his spot to a bit of a safer spot, and he's able to nail it. First try, closing out game number 2 with a win. Ronnie needed this to stay alive, and he sure put on a clinic. I mean, besides that one big death, he was so close to his PB through and through. And then even with that big death, just being able to like consolidate his movement, to be able to show off how much of a wizard he is in the late game. What an impressive display from Ronnie. If he has another run like this, I would not be surprised to be able to see him make it to the semifinal. Meanwhile, Raz, unfortunately, Ronnie just not giving him any room to be able to catch up and took a huge death at the Fast Stompless area right before he made it to the next sort of checkpoint in the run. This is going to be walking away with a loss in this game. But that being said, he's not out of it yet. If he is able to close out a clean run in the game number 3, he will be able to close out a win and move on to the semis himself.
Oh boy. Ronnie, and just like, no biggie, just casual 28 in a quarterfinal.
No yeah, 2057.
Raziel going into... has his UI up. Did say GG in race chat, so he does know that Ronnie has beaten him in this second race, and will have a third one. Misses the free trick, but gets the second try.
Free. Oh, yeah, no, it's... yeah, the one-frame door warp entry. Yeah, oh yeah, no problem. Nicely done from Raz, closing out second try. Now heading into the final escape himself. He is going to showcase off how comfortable he is with this. He did type GG in the SRL chat, so Raz does know he's walking away with a loss in this game, but he is going to be a very powerful run to be able to close this out and showcase off just how terrifying his movement is in this section.
Now we actually get to see the movement in that room from Raziel, as he also goes through the fire and the flames and hits the elemental shots right on. Checks the movement for the fish. It looks about right. Yeah, gonna very briefly stall and just not get hit by the bird. But at least not going to spawn the bird.
Yeah, exactly. Nicely done from Raz, setting up for the final grenade jump. Gets it first try, no soft lock. Raz is going to be walking away with about a mid-31, which, without that huge death, this actually would have been very close, if not faster, than what he got in the first game. So Raz really showing off just, like, how powerful and consistent he is with this speed game. I mean, I cannot overstate that that death was, like, a minute of gameplay. So, like, this is still an insanely good run from Raz, knowing that big death occurred.
It just is a credit to both of these runners, how they can have something go horribly awry and yet pull back from it like it's no big deal. And Raz giving us the Naru hops.
Oh, Raz, I love you, man. Alright, Poogle, that first race was just absolutely insane. Ronnie with a couple of big mistakes going through, and Raz just being able to stay neck and neck with his opponent and finally capitalize on that in the final escape, closing out game number 1. While game number 2, Ronnie able to just show off what type of runner, being like 4 seconds behind his PB at Glide, taking an unfortunate big death, but was able to claw that back and just like close out the run to take a win in game number 2. How are you feeling about our chances for an insane race tomorrow when we settle game 3?
I'd rather my heart settle first before answering that question. But yeah, we are going to have a spectacular game 3. 1-1 Ronnie Raziel. Our game 3 is going to be tomorrow at Speed Gaming at about 4 p.m. Eastern. If today's games are any indication, tomorrow's game is going to be insane. So that's going to be really super fun. So, Muffin, what have we got coming up next on Speed Gaming?
That's an excellent question. I'm not quite sure myself, but definitely stay tuned to see what exciting action is going to be. It's not going to be free, but what is it?
It is Magic the Gathering Arena.
Oh, very good. That's going to be an excellent show, so definitely stay tuned for that. That being said, I just want to plug, looking at this bracket, this was the first 2 games of the quarterfinals for the Ori tournament. We have 3 other insane matchups. Hitachi versus Vula, that could be insanely close. Wilson versus Terra, that could be, like, absolutely insane as well, because I totally believe in you, Terra. Wilson's a terrifying opponent, but then Elo versus Lurking as well. And so, after the game tomorrow to close out game number 3 in the set of Ronnie versus Raz, the next one will be on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern, and that'll feature Vula versus Hitachi playing their first 2 games as well as game number 3 if it goes to that. That being said, major shout-outs to Skullblocka and Chicken Supreme for helping us out with the stats behind the scenes, and Terra for the restream. We wouldn't be able to put on a broadcast like this without you guys, so thank you so much. And we'll see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.